Hey, what is going on, guys? It is your boy Shootout407 here today, back with another YouTube video. Today we are going to be playing some Skywars on the PS4. Be playing with a couple of my friends here. I feel like these were a couple of good gameplays, so I figured I might as well upload them. And let's talk about the Philadelphia Eagles. They're a mess this year. I figured, why not? We talked about them in the beginning of the year when they played the 49ers. They got their first win of the year at that video. So I figured, why not make another one, see if they can make a push for the playoffs. Obviously it's good luck when I make a video about them, trash them a little bit. Maybe they'll see this. I don't know, get the hint. But so what I want to talk about today is, should they keep Carson Wentz? Should they keep Doug Peterson? What they should do to try and make the team better. Obviously, I'm not a GM or anything, and I probably will never be. But this is what I feel like the Eagles need watching the games. But I'm gonna start out with should the Eagles keep Doug Peterson? Honestly, in my opinion, I think they should for now, unless someone else who's better comes up on the market. But right now, I just don't think, at least as of with 2 games left in the season, I don't think there's anyone left. Or anyone that's better than him on the market. I feel like he's the best option, at least for next year, because this year was such a weird year, with COVID and everything. They didn't get their full training camp in, or really any training camp. They didn't get any preseason games in. So I feel like if they could just maybe have a full workouts together, full preseason, that things might be a little bit different than this year. But I don't know. He's been making a lot of aggressive calls and a lot of calls that I don't know if I necessarily agree with. Because I believe in the Pittsburgh game they went for 2 twice and they didn't get it twice, which they lost 38-29. But if they had kicked 2 field goals instead, they would have been it would have been 38-31. They would have had a chance to tie the game. I believe they had the ball, but the game was over at that point because they were down by 9. It didn't even make sense for them to score, but. That was one instance, and then last week when they played the Cardinals, they kicked the field goal. Patrick Peterson got a penalty, so they went out there, they went for 2, and they tried handing it off to Miles Sanders, which I didn't agree with there. A lot of people think that they should have just had Jalen Hurts try to run it, which I don't know about that either. I would have tried to get, I don't even know, maybe Jordan Howard, a power back, to try and run it in. But even that, I don't know. I didn't like the 2-point call at all. I would have rather him just kept the field goal, kept the game within close. They would have been up by 1 actually there, I think, or no, I actually missed a field goal there, so they wouldn't have been up by 1, but they would have got the points automatically. But instead they go for 2, they don't get it. So instead of it being 33-27 after the crazy D-Hop touchdown, I give him props. That was a pretty crazy catch. Our cornerback, I don't know, D-Hop made some pretty crazy catches against the Eagles that game. But you got to give credit where credit's due. He's a good receiver. The Cardinals got him for basically nothing. So it was a good trade on their part. But instead of it being 33-27, it was 33-26 after the D-Hop touchdown. So they're down by 7, so they need a touchdown instead of just being able to kick field goals, which I know it was risky to kick field goals just because we didn't have our punter to hold the snaps. But still, field goals are field goals. Anyone can catch a ball and hopefully put it down. But so their second to last drive, they had to go for it for the end zone. They don't get it. They turn it over on downs instead of kicking the field goal, which would have been 33-27, which would have made it 33-30. And then they stop Arizona's defense when they were trying to run the clock out, or Arizona's offense when they were trying to run the clock out. And then they get the ball back. They could have maybe been in field goal range. At the end of the game, they were just shooting for the end zone because that's all they had. That's basically what they needed. But instead, they could have gotten field goal range maybe and kicked a field goal, tied the game, put it into overtime, and that would have been the difference maker. And then, who knows what happens after that. They could have, won, lost, maybe even tied, which would have been crazy to have 2 ties in one season. And that's another thing. I don't know if I like that the Bengals call the one time that he's not aggressive. At that point, they're 0-2. I'm sticking my kicker out there and trying to get a win instead of just taking the tie. And I don't know if I agree with that, but I understand why he did it because the tie could have been the tiebreaker for the whole season. But with them right now, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. They need a miracle to happen. They still have 2 games left against divisional opponents, so it's possible. Yeah, but they need everyone in front of them to lose out. And they play Washington, so that'll be a big game. But if Washington wins another one, then I imagine that the Eagles are theoretically out of it. So now we're going to talk about Carson Wentz. Should he be the starter next year? I don't think that this season's entirely on Carson. I mean, his passing percentage, completion percentage is it's horrible. It's like 35th out of like 36 starters that have even taken a snap. And that's below like Dwayne Haskins, who's been benched. Like everyone who's below him had been benched until when he got benched versus the Saints. But I don't think it's like I said, I don't think it's entirely on him. Doug hasn't really helped him. I heard that he wants out of Philly if he remains the backup, and Jalen Hurts remains the starter. But at that point, like I don't know, like he realizes he's got to know like he's been playing horrible. So like, why do you want out? Like, why wouldn't you want to go out there and prove like you should be the starter? Like, if I don't know if you're just that unhappy in Philly, but like, if I was him, I'd want to go out there and prove like that was an accident. Like, this season was a fluke, and I should be the starter in Philly. But I mean, it is what it is. If he wants to start, if he doesn't, he's getting the money either way. But if he doesn't want to, take the chance and not risk not getting the starter job back for whatever reason, even though you're still collecting a paycheck, then that's on him if that's what he wants to do. But I think that they should just take this season. It's hard to say because, he's got a hefty cap hit. I mean, if you get rid of him, you open up so much cap. Alshon will be off the books. Deshaun will be off the books. Then you got Carson. If you trade him away, yeah, you'll have a little bit of dead cap hit, but there'd be so much more money to spend for, the secondary, which they definitely need. The O-line, they need to get younger, so they definitely need to draft better there. Which, obviously you can't put that on Carson. I think he was the most hit quarterback in the league. So, like I said, it can go either way on if you think it's his fault. I don't necessarily put the whole season on him, but I definitely put a good part of it on him just because he's been horrible passing the ball. He's just, like I said, his completion percentage is bad. He's missing open receivers, fumbling the ball. He's holding on to the ball too long. So, I wouldn't be surprised if they got rid of him and held on to Jalen Hurts, especially if they win this game versus the Cowboys and the Redskins, and somehow, especially if they squeak into the playoffs. But I don't know. I think that they should give him one more year if he wants it to, try and get the job back from Jalen Hurts if like I said, if he wants that. But if not, then yeah, you got to let him go because you don't want him to be, a cancer in the locker room or anything. Not that he is, but you don't want him to, start controversy in the locker room and, that'll just mess up the team even more than it already is. But like I said, if he wants it, I'm giving him one more chance just because, like I said, it's been such a weird year. Even good teams that have pretty good lineups, like the Falcons, they're having a bad year. So, it's hard to say because if you keep him and he turns out to still be the backup, then yeah, maybe explore some trades and see if you can maybe get something for him, maybe a couple draft picks, because he's still got a lot of potential. Like, he's only 27 years old, and he could still have room to grow, especially if he gets the right coach under him. I'm not saying Doug isn't, because obviously he's shown that Doug and him have done pretty well together, but it's not this year. So if they could figure something out, get some picks. Like if someone offered him a first round pick, then yeah, I'm definitely considering it because then you have money to spend on wide receivers, linebackers, O line, D line, the secondary, which is awful. Which they actually played pretty good versus the Cardinals and the Saints for that matter. But I know the Saints didn't have Drew Brees, but it is what it is. But yeah, so the only, if it comes out that Carson just doesn't want to run Doug's plays, which, there have been rumors that that's what's going on, then yeah, then maybe you get rid of him because it's not even worth the trouble because you already got a decent quarterback in Jalen Hurts. I don't want to say he's good yet just because it's only been 2 games, so it's just a small sample size. I just, we need more sample size to be able to say, yeah, he's good. But, 2 games, he hasn't been passing too well. He's been, some of the passes he's made have been pretty good, but his passing percentage is the same as Carson's. I think he's only got probably a 58 completion percentage, which it's all right. But you got to see what happens here with the last 2 games. And then I'm just gonna go over real quick what the Eagles should do. Like I said, I think they need cornerbacks. I think they need, to fix the secondary. They need to get like I think they definitely need, which I don't even know what's going to be out there, but if they could get a top receiver, they need to fix the line so that way people don't keep getting hurt. I know that there's a lot of like question marks on the team, but this team's got a lot of like pretty decent potential. If they could draft a little bit better, then I think they'd be set. But their drafting just hasn't been that well. But this video is coming to an end, so if you enjoyed, do not forget to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to always shoot your shot.